This is Dr. Kiran Hashmi, and I'm here to talk about conflict management. Teachers today on Skill at Page. Thank you very much, Zainab, for giving me this opportunity to talk to the group members here, and it will indeed be a good, enriching learning experience for all of us, for you and for me. To begin with, just a little background about my own self. I'm a teacher educator, and I'm also a researcher, but I am very proud to call myself a teacher. I think being a teacher and a teacher educator, this has given me an insight into not only understanding what classroom practices are to be and how we can reframe it, but it also has given me an opportunity to help my teachers and my fellow students and colleagues teach better in the classroom. When we talk more about teaching, and specifically teaching and education, I mean, there are a number of things that we come across. And one thing which is very, very common in our life, in our personal life, in our academic life, in our professional life, that is a conflict. Now, a question is, what is a conflict? Before I start sharing what a conflict is, I would like to start thinking, and I would really like to start from the viewers, the audience who are listening to me. What is a conflict for you? I'm taking a pause for a minute, and then I will definitely be sharing my responses. But in the meantime, please think about it and share what is conflict. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hello. Yes. So, what is a conflict, teachers? Well, I can see a number of comments appearing, but not on conflict. First of all, tell me, is my voice audible to all of you? Can you all hear what I'm saying? Zainab, if you can just text and write in the comment box if I'm audible. Great. So it means I'm audible to all. Great. That's lovely. Right. A conflict basically is a disagreement. A disagreement, not in a sense that we start fighting and become violent. Okay. I think I'm audible now. All right. Let me be a bit more loud so that you can hear my voice carefully. Okay. Thank you very much, Zainab, for your support. Let's start, everybody. The ones who have just joined me, let me begin with my topic. Zainab has already shared my little profile with you, and I also did in the beginning. Let's start with our topic, and that is conflict management among teachers. Now, what actually is a conflict? Yes, I'm getting very good responses. Conflict is a disagreement, it's indifference, it's a way we thought differently from each other. Now, it is not necessary that conflict always ends up in something which is violent. It is not necessary to be violent. But yes, what is more necessary is how do we resolve that conflict? Conflict is something which is very natural. The way we feel hunger, the way we feel thirsty, the way we feel support. In a very similar way, we also feel to have a conflict at times. There's absolutely no problems in that. And if you really study the psychology of mind, it says conflicts are good. They're actually helping you in developing a divergent perspective to anything that you are into. Conflict is not something which is always bad. Unfortunately, the society that we live in, that gives us an idea that, oh, conflict is something which is very bad. I'm in a conflict with so-and-so person. But in reality, no, conflict is good at times, and conflict really helps us in actually achieving a lot more as compared to the other. Now, before I move on to the other part, let's share why do we get into a conflicting state. It is very common in our professional experiences, specifically in the schools, the place where we work, in our educational institutions, that we get into a conflict with somebody or the other. Now, sometimes our conflicts tends to become so violent that rather helping us out in solving the problem, it becomes a problem for all of us. It takes us into a psychological, mental trauma, and we get into a social, emotional disturbance because of that conflict. If something like this happens, as teachers, what are we supposed to do? If this happens within the students in the classroom, this is a responsibility of the teacher to arrange a kind of an environment where certain activities, certain strategies are taken into account, where conflict management takes place. If it happens within the teachers, the first responsibility is of the teacher. If the teachers are unable to resolve the conflict that is there, then the responsibility actually goes to the hands of the leadership or the management who is there to resolve the conflict. Now, understanding what conflict is and why conflict occurs, let's see what are the different types. हम अगर किसी के साथ conflict में आते हैं, yes, due to different opinions, due to different mindsets, due to different experiences, conflict occurs when we are coming from two different experiences. My experience doesn't relate with you, and I am trying to boast my idea and post my idea to your thoughts. Automatically, your experience will not allow you to accept. It will not allow you to accept the way you are thinking, and automatically we then get into a conflicting state. Now, when we come into a conflicting state and when the conflict is negative, please remember, conflicts are of two kinds. One conflict actually leads us to a positive dimension of work. The other conflict leads us to a negative dimension of work. When we are in a positive dimension of work, what are the good advantages that we can have from the positive outcome? First of all, conflict, when we are getting into a conflict, it actually helps us to resolve problems. It develops problem solving skills. This is one of the biggest advantage that we have of conflict management. जब हम एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में पढ़ते हैं और उसको सोचते हैं और इसको रिजॉल्व करने की कोशिश करते हैं, automatically what we are doing, we are actually enhancing problem solving skills, not only of ourselves but also of the people who are involved. It could be my students, it could be my peer, it could be my fellows, it could be my family, or it could be the entire organization. Number one, when we are trying to solve conflicts and in a positive dimension, let me tell you, the second advantage that we get is it helps us to energize and prioritize our problems. प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग के बाद जो सेकंड सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट आता है वो ये है कि कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन हमें प्रायोरिटाइज करने में मदद देती है. पहला कौन सा मसला हल करना है, दूसरा कौन सा, तीसरा कौन सा, चौथा कौन सा, पांचवा कौन सा, एंड स्टेप बाय स्टेप यू स्टार्ट रिजॉल्विंग प्रॉब्लम्स. When you tend to start doing that, automatically you see a very positive line, a chain developing, and that smoothens the entire process of a school, your teaching, learning, and the education that you are trying to impart. The third example, or the third advantage that we have is conflict resolution actually helps us being real. It helps us being real. Right? It motivates us to participate. It motivates us to be who we are. It motivates us, it encourages us to be what we intend to do, what we are thinking of doing, and how we can actually improve upon the conditions. The last benefit of positive conflict resolution is it helps people learn how to recognize and benefit from their differences. हम ये बहुत कम करते हैं. We are actually more into the negative domain and keep on triggering about the negative approaches, the negative dimensions that we have from conflict resolution. But when we tend to be in a positive dimension of, we learn from each other's experiences, we learn from each other's mindsets, and we also learn from each other's differences. Moving from here, unfortunately, this is a very common practice again, that when we are in a conflict, Psychologically, our minds are more diverted towards the negative elements that are happening. Now, when we are in a negative element in a conflict with anybody XYZ, the very first disadvantage, teachers, that we have is it hampers productivity. My efficiency, if I'm in a conflict and if that is triggering me to be in a negative dimension from other, that actually hampers not only my productivity but my efficiency within my school or education institution. It does not allow me to think in a positive direction and take actions that are necessary to be taken. The biggest disadvantage. Moving from the second disadvantage, from this one to the second one, when I'm or anybody is in a conflict in a negative manner, the second important thing that happens is it lowers our morale. It lowers our morale, and if it lowers our morale, automatically I, as a person or anybody who is into that state, cannot think positively, cannot think in a more enriching way, cannot come up with something which is different that they can apply, because their self-esteem is so low, the morale is so low. This is another disadvantage. The third disadvantage, which is very, very common, and I'm sure you all must agree to it, 100% you will agree to it. When we are into a conflict and we are unable to resolve that conflict, the most important issue is we tend to get into more conflicts, one after the other. We are unable to solve one and we have another one lined up, then the third one lined up, and then the fourth one, and this change continues. You know why? Because this is a dominoes effect. Again, human psychology has proven this. Multiple tests have been conducted, और वो सब हमें यही बताते हैं कि जब हम एक नेगेटिव एलिमेंट में रहते हुए किसी के साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का शिकार होते हैं, तो वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बढ़ता चला जाता है, वो कम नहीं होता. एक से दूसरा, दूसरे से तीसरा, तीसरे से चौथा, और एक एक करके आपके बेल्स गिरना शुरू हो जाते हैं. दिस इज़ an extremely alarming situation, and as teachers and as educated individuals, yes, it multiplies. Zainab, you are so right that you see it's conflict after conflict after conflict after conflict, and as teachers we cannot afford to have so many conflicts because we have to work within a constrained environment of the education sector that we are into, or the educational institution that we are into. How to go about it then? What to do? And the last disadvantage, which for me is the most important one, where I actually focus a lot and where I talk a lot, not only with my colleagues but also with my students, inappropriate behavior. When we are in a negative conflict with somebody, we tend to forget the element of care, respect, appreciation, and acknowledgement. And what we tend to do, we start pulling the legs of the other. We do not even leave a single, just a single chance where we can defame the other, where we can disrespect the other, or where we can frustrate and irritate the other. Now you see, again, if you really look at it, when you are trying to defame the other, when you are trying to apply negative strategies to disrespect the other, ideally you are doing it to your own self. आप जब अपनी फ्रस्ट्रेशन किसी दूसरे पर निकालते हैं उस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट की वजह से, तो वो एक्चुअली उसके लिए नहीं होता. जब आप एक नेगेटिव स्कीमा बनाते हैं किसी दूसरे के लिए, सो साइकोलॉजी हैज़ प्रूवन दैट इट इज़ नॉट फॉर द अदर पर्सन, इट इज़ बेसिकली फॉर योर ओन सेल्फ. When you do a wrong thing, a disrespect to the other, ideally you are disrespecting your own self. This is what psychology says, and this is the reason why human psychology says that when you get into a conflict, it is good, but do not get into the negative domain of the conflict. Restrict yourself to the positive domain, because positive domain really helps you grow. Now, moving from here, when we talk about conflict management पे आने से पहले, तो let's talk about, in an education institution, why do we have conflicts? जो रीजंस हैं हमारे डिसएग्रीमेंट्स, आपने बहुत सारे लोगों ने अभी मुझे डिसएग्रीमेंट्स लिखा, नेगेटिविटी के बारे में लिखा, डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंसेस के बारे में लिखा, डिफरेंट माइंडसेट्स के बारे में लिखा, परफेक्ट, लवली. But there are certain sources of conflict, and I really want my viewers to listen to it carefully, because this is something where I would like you to ponder. This is something where I would really like you on to sit, think, and just imagine yourself into that situation and see, have we ever been a part of such a situation where this kind of a conflict has ever occurred, either to us or to anybody within our fraternity. Now, the very first source of conflict that arises in an educational institution, because we all are teachers, so obviously we are coming from an educational background. Mostly we have problems within the sector, within our educational institution. And why do we have so? We get into conflict because we have limited resources. One of the sources to create a conflict is limited resource. Some of the teachers are happy. They tend to be, what should I say, what is the right word? They can manage well with the available resources. But there are certain teachers who think, no, we need more. And they always keep on cripping about the schools, कि भाई, this is not available, this is not available, this is not available, this is not available. If a resource comes in, for example, any resource, let's say computer. If a computer comes in the school and we are all involved into online teaching and learning, one uses this, the other time is being consumed. So the other person would say, why is this person using so much, and why am I not being given this resource where I was supposed to have given? So availability of the resource, limited resource, division of the resource is one of the sources of conflict within our schools. If you think you have experienced it, write in the comments so I can see. I would like you people to go back to your educational practices in your schools and think about it. Really, have you ever noticed this? Limited resources, a source of conflict. Now, the second important source of conflict in any educational institution is independent work activities. This is my area. This is my work. I would like to work on this. I do not want anybody to get involved or intervene. Why not? I am not working in a compartmentalized manner. I am working in a group setting. And when I am working in a group setting, people will definitely be intervening. People will definitely be giving me their suggestions. People will definitely be requiring to add in more points to what I'm already doing. But because I'm too full of myself and I have an insecurity within myself, I said no. I have an independent work activity style and I'll do it that way. This is another source of conflict arising within the teachers at workplace. The third and the most important for me is differentiation of activities. Now, what do we mean by differentiation of activities? Differentiation of activities basically means how are we dividing the responsibilities amongst the workforce that we have. Now, if I am good at IT, for example, and if my colleague is good at making handmade material, there is no harm in differentiating that. Whatever is my capacity, whatever is my potential, let me work on that way. And whatever is my colleague's potential, let me work on that. But sometimes our schools do not really tap into the skills that they have in the workforce. And what happens? Conflict. Very common conflict. मुझे क्यों दे दिया, इसको क्यों नहीं दिया, इसको ज़्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्यों दे दी, मुझे क्यों दे दी, मैं सुबह से काम कर रही हूँ, ये नहीं कर रहा है, ये क्यों बैठी है, मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ. You see, these are the very, very, very common examples of distribution and differentiation of activities that we have, right? And it causes a lot of conflicts. आप लोगों ने बहुत commonly experience किया होगा कि जब हम events organize करते हैं स्कूल में, every school does that, every educational institution does that, and teachers have their responsibilities in that. By the end of every program that we put in, some or the other teacher comes and complains, I had more work, this girl or this teacher has less work, so and so was just sitting, so and so was just sitting, and so was just sitting. What was I doing? Why was everything given to me? And this actually is a cause of conflict. Moving from here, the other source of conflict is communication problem. Very, very common. You people must have heard in your schools, which is a very common term now. I don't know whether you have experienced it or you have not experienced it. It is actually known as the TC system. Now, what is the TC system? TC system एक टर्म है जो ओरिजिनेट की गई है. ये उन टीचर्स के लिए है जो स्कूल प्रिंसिपल्स के या हेड्स के स्पेशल एजेंट्स होते हैं, जिनका काम ये होता है स्पाई करना, टू गो टू सी व्हाट इज every to the head, and then the head takes actions against those employees whom he or she feels were not working according to the standards. Generally in schools, this I have personally experienced, इसलिए मैं ये बात कह रही हूँ. This is something very very common कि हमारे यहाँ इतने ज़्यादा conflicts इसलिए होते हैं कि ये जो हमारे spy agents हैं ये गलत खबरें पहुँचाते हैं और फिर उसकी बेसिस पे हमारी झगड़े शुरू हो जाते हैं. बहुत ही कॉमन सोर्स ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. इसके बाद जो एक सोर्स ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है वो होता है डिफरेंस इन परसेप्शन, विच बेसिकली इज द मीनिंग, द लिटरेट मीनिंग ऑफ अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. डिफरेंस इन आइडियाज, डिसएग्रीमेंट्स, डिफरेंस इन परसेप्शंस, डिफरेंट इन पर्सपेक्टिव्स, डिफरेंसेस इन एक्सपीरियंसेस. ये एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है, एक सोर्स है फॉर हैविंग अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. द लास्ट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट दैट is the environment of the organization. Now this is something which is very very important and very interesting, I must say. Difference in environment का मतलब क्या होता है? Environment of the organization. I'm coming from for example, the places from where I have studied, or the places where I have worked, or my self created perception of a workplace. Whenever I go to work at a place, I would like that place to be caring. I would like that place to have affective domain. I would like that place to have some care, some value, some kind of humane element for the employees who work. Because employees for me are the most important part of any organization. Unfortunately, there are number of schools, number of educational institutions who are becoming corporate, who are becoming commercial, and for them what happens? For them, the employees who are working are not important. The work that goes on, the systems that they develop are more important, and they tend to become inhumane. If my personal belief does not match, okay, how to overcome this conflict? Insia, I will answer your question at the end. Right after completing this, I will come to the suggestions and you will be getting this answer also. So a very important element, a very important factor, a very important source which causes a conflict is the difference between my personal belief of a workplace with the workplace I work at. And this actually is a constant conflict that we are into. Continuously it goes on and on and on, and most of the time what happens that employees leave that organization when they cannot see a change in the environment and the culture the way they would like to, right? So these are some of the sources which I wanted you all to understand. जब हम sources की बात करते हैं तो sources में हम उन factors के बारे में बात कर रहे होते हैं कि जिनकी वजह से एक conflict arise होता है. अब इसके बाद the second step that comes in right after this is the causes. Right? The causes. Vajia, thank you very much, darling, for your comment. This is indeed a very, very, very encouraging one. I'm sorry I'm just drifting everybody, but I could not hold Vajia's response. Thank you, Vajia. Okay, coming back to the causes and the factors that includes Insia, if the environment, let me answer Insia's question before I move on to the causes or factors. Insia, the point, darling, here is we as individuals, as employees, can only change the culture if we stand together as one group. The management or the leadership of the school needs to be convinced with the ideas that we are trying to portray. Please remember, any organization where we work will never ever listen to us unless they see something positive outcome coming out of that. Unless that positive outcome is not there, the management will never change the culture. Yes, with mutual communication. As I did tell you earlier, that conflicts, one source of conflict is miscommunication, right? Lack of communication. If both parties, the employers and the employees, sit together, have consensus, mutual consensus, and develop and design a model where both of them are actually in a win-win situation, we can. But if there is no communication of that sort, and if the employers and the employees do not come on a similar page, your conflict will continue. In most of the educational institutions in India, yes, we have seen a win-win situation where people have really worked to change the culture. But in some of the organizations where I would really use the word here, which are commercial, have nothing to do with the culture. The commercial organizations have nothing to do with the kind of people. The commercial institutions have nothing to do with the affective domain of an environment that they need to have. They're only concerned with the output. The output of those schools is in two terms. The first is basically money. The second is results. Otherwise, they will never ever be able to. So a good school that really works for the cause of education, with mutual consensus, with mutual discussions, with a win-win situation, then only you can resolve that. I think I've answered Insia's question, which was a very good one, Insia. Let me now quickly move on to others. Just an announcement, everybody, if you people have questions, please post them. I will park them. I will take them at the end once my session gets over. Now, from the sources, as I just spoke about, let's come down to the causes and factors that causes conflict. Now, this is something very interesting. The very first cause of conflict is the affective conflict. Now, the word itself is self-explanatory. Affective conflict. What does it mean? I would really like the reviewers to answer, and I'll take a pause for a minute here. What do you think? Any idea about affective conflict? I'm waiting for your responses and then we'll continue. Okay, I am not receiving any response. Chaliye, no worries. No worries. You can write your responses later also. I don't mind that. Now, affective conflict is between group members who have interpersonal clashes, right? And it is actually characterized by anger, frustration, negative feelings, ill feelings, hatred, and envy. This for me is the most strongest form of conflict that we have with the other person. The other term that we use for affective conflict is interpersonal conflict. This is not something which is positive. Interpersonal conflict or conflict basically is something which is negative, and it actually entails a lot of negative emotions within it, right? This is the first factor, the first cause, affective. One-to-one basis, group-to-group basis. I have an inbuilt hatred for the other person. I have an inbuilt hatred for the person who is there. Okay, server issues, lots of breaks. My internet, I think, is working perfectly fine, but I'm sorry if there's a problem. I'll just check it. Okay, thank you. Right, so moving from here, from affective conflict, let's come to the another factor or the other cause of a very interesting cause from affective as substantive. Right. So the second type of conflict is the substantive conflict. Bit of internet connectivity issues. Please bear with me, everybody. I'm really very sorry. Okay, let me resume. Zainab, am I visible and audible now? Because I lost my connection for a minute. Zainab? Okay. I think I am audible as well as visible. Thank you very much. Okay, let me just quickly continue. The second type of the factor, yes, thank you Zainab, thank you very much. The second factor or the cause of conflict that we are into is substantive conflict. Now, I'm taking a pause here again. What is substantive conflict? Let's think. Think for a minute. Give your answers. What is substantive conflict? Affective, remember, is between people, between individual, between groups, which is very, very negative. Okay, Shazia is saying that my audio is not perfectly fine. Great, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now, what is substantive conflict? Now, substantive conflict is slightly different from affective. Now, what happens in affective? That we have a one-to-one or group-to-group conflict with the people, and which are more interpersonal, which has a lot of negative ill feelings, which has a lot of envy, hatred, negative emotions for the other individual or the other group. Substantive conflict is relatively different from affective. Now, substantive conflict is the one that is between groups of people, but it's more about the ideas and the opinions. It is for a given task where people work together, like for example 6, 7, 8 people are working together on a prescribed task, but they are having conflicts of opinion, conflicts of ideas, conflicts of imaginations, conflict of execution. If they have this difference, this type of difference is known as substantive. This is something which is positive. It leads to a positive outcome, but it has to be managed effectively. ये substantive conflict का एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट रूल है कि जब हम substantive conflict कर रहे होते हैं तो लोग क्या करते हैं कि लोग अपने opinions पे, अपने ideas पे, अपने thoughts पे conflict disagreements develop करते हैं, और वो disagreements then lead to something which is very positive outcome, but the way it is managed actually is a skill. तो चाहे तो वो आपके ग्रुप लीडर कर रहा हो, या वो आपके स्कूल का लीडर कर रहा हो, या वो कोई भी इंसान कर रहा हो, but the one who is in the leading position actually has a responsibility to develop a smooth relationship, a smooth connection between the disagreements that is there and take it forward to a positive outcome. This kind of conflict is known as the substantive conflict. Moving from here, yes, personal thoughts. Moving from here, the third type of conflict or the third source of conflict is known as the conflict of interest. Conflict of interest, again, you people have heard it several times what conflict of interest means. जब हम एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहे होते हैं और हम किसी और के लिए काम करते हैं तो एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट डेवलप हो जाता है, बिकॉज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट बेसिकली अकर्स बिटवीन टू organizations or between two parties who are offering the same service. When two different parties offer the same service and we get into this actually becomes a conflict of interest. Please remember, ये एक बहुत important element है, टीचर्स को बहुत अच्छी तरह पता है, टीचर्स इसके बारे में बहुत अच्छी तरीके से जानते हैं. और इससे होता क्या है, इससे होता ये है कि जब हम एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहे होते हैं तो वो हमसे एक बॉन्ड साइन करवाते हैं, और उस बॉन्ड का मकसद ये होता है कि वी कैन नॉट ऑफर आवर सर्विसेज इन अ वेरी सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एल्सवेयर, बिकॉज दैट लीड्स टू कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. Sorry, just 1 minute, my internet is a bit slow. Right, moving from here, the fourth kind of conflict that we generally have is known as the conflict of values. I don't know whether you people have heard about it or you have not heard about it, but this is something which is very common and that keeps on happening with almost all of us. We are into it, we keep on experiencing it, but most of the times we are not aware that the kind of disagreement that we are developing with one person or the other, or a community or a group of people, is conflict of values. I am asking my viewers, 1 to 2 people, anybody who would like to write, what is conflict of values? Take a minute, think about it, write your responses, and I'll wait. Conflict of values. कब होता है conflict of values? Right. Conflict of values is basically, the other term that we have for it is ideological difference. I believe in something, I want that to happen that way, but the other person or the other organization doesn't allow me to do that. It restricts me from doing that. My mentality, my psychology, my belief system, my ideology doesn't match with the philosophy of the organization I am working with or the people I am working with. And what happens as a result? Clash. Clash of philosophy, clash of identities, clash of ideologies. ये बहुत ही commonly experienced conflict है, जो हम एक्सप्रेस नहीं करते, जो हम बताते नहीं हैं, जो हम शेयर नहीं करते, लेकिन हम क्या करते हैं? हम it is between right and wrong, absolutely, because what we feel is right, the other doesn't feel that way. अगर हमारे सामने कोई ऐसी चीज़ होती है जो हमारे पर्सनल बिलीफ सिस्टम के अगेंस्ट है, हम उसके खिलाफ आवाज़ उठाते हैं, लेकिन अगर वो सामने वाला be it an organization, be it a group of people, be it an individual, be it anybody, if the other community rejects our thought, then what do we get into? We get into a conflict of ideology, a conflict of values, and what happens? We just leave the organization because we can't see things happening, right? Moving from here, एक बहुत important जो हमारा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का रीज़न होता है स्कूल्स में, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन में, दैट इज़ नोन एज गोल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. नाउ व्हाट इज़ अ गोल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट? ये हम सब ने एक्सपीरियंस किया है बिकॉज वी ऑल आर टीचर्स. गोल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्या होता है? अगेन some very good responses are coming up and I'm very pleased to see them. चलिए, take a minute again, think about it and write what are goal conflicts. ये कब होते हैं? ये कैसे होते हैं? ये हम टीचर्स ने कैसे एक्सपीरियंस किए? Think about it and let me know. I'm waiting. Okay. Goal conflict एक बहुत common example है. Now let me put it up this way, which I think all the viewers who are listening, all the ones who are there, and even after when this live session is over, they will definitely be vouching for it कि हाँ ये तो होता है. My purpose as a teacher is to educate. My purpose is not to get A grades for everybody. हर student 100 में से 100 नंबर नहीं ला सकता, और मैं नहीं चाहती कि हर स्टूडेंट 100 में से 100 नंबर लाए, लेकिन मेरा स्कूल, मेरा हेड, मेरा एकेडमिक कोऑर्डिनेटर, मेरा प्रिंसिपल कहता है नहीं जी, एवरी स्टूडेंट ऑफ द क्लास हैज़ टू गेट एन ए. मैं घोड़ों और गधों की रेस में सबको एक साथ तो नहीं भगा सकती. गोल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. आई एम नॉट टीचिंग टू गेट ए ग्रेड्स. आई एम टीचिंग टू मेक skill-oriented, lifelong learners. My school doesn't say that. My school says on the notice board that is kept outside, on the pamphlets that is there outside, on the board, the school board which is placed outside says 100% results. I am not a teacher working, yes, absolutely, feeling of competition, very true. Right? I am not a teacher who is working to get 100% results. Why do I need to have 100% results? मेरा हर स्टूडेंट ए ग्रेड क्यों लाए? अगर मेरा स्टूडेंट उस कॉन्सेप्ट को समझ रहा है, दैट्स द बेस्ट पार्ट फॉर मी, एंड द स्टूडेंट कैन अप्लाई द लर्न कॉन्सेप्ट इन द रियल क्लास, इन द रियल लाइफ. Kudos, that's my success. Getting an A grade is not my success. This is actually a goal conflict. Very, very common in our school system. Very common. इतना ज़्यादा common है कि हम सब कहेंगे कि भाई ये तो होता ही है. ठीक है. इसके बाद एक लास्ट टाइप ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैं आपसे शेयर करूंगी, एंड दैट इज नोन एज रियलिस्टिक वर्सेस non-realistic conflict. Now, what is realistic versus non-realistic conflict? This I would really like you all to think and tell me. Realistic and non-realistic. Realistic conflict basically arises when we are into a goal orientation stage. ठीक है. हमारे लिए हमारी बहुत सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, स्कूल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की मैं बात कर रही हूँ, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस की मैं बात कर रही हूँ, और मैं यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की भी बात कर रही हूँ. हमें क्या कहा जाता है कि जी दिस इज़ आवर टारगेट एंड वी नीड टू अचीव दैट टारगेट. मुझे एक साल में 1000 MBAs प्रोड्यूस करने हैं, उनकी क्वालिटी चाहे कोई भी हो, मुझे उससे कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. और मैं एज ए टीचर कहती हूँ कि नहीं जी, वी कैन नॉट हैव 1000 MBAs coming out of the university. We can have 20 to 30, but of good quality. When they go out of my institution, they're actually carrying my label. They will go out, and when they go to the market, and when they will be consumed in the market audience will say, wow, what quality. They're producing less, but they're producing of a high standard. But my organization says, I am least bothered about the quality. मुझे कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, मुझे ये गोल चाहिए. तो जब हम एक रियलिस्टिक और अनरियलिस्टिक गोल के बीच में आ जाते हैं, सो वी टेंड टू गेट इनटू ए कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. फॉर एग्जांपल, आजकल एक चीज़ बहुत कॉमनली चल रही है, आप लोग शायद उसको न्यूज़ पे फॉलो कर रहे हो. आई एम स्टैंडिंग अगेंस्ट इट, आई एम नॉट स्टैंडिंग इन फेवर. जब हमने ऑनलाइन क्लासेस, मैं हायर एजुकेशन की बात करूंगी और स्कूल्स की भी, कि जब हमें कहा गया कि देयर वाज अ ओवरनाइट चेंज फ्रॉम 4 वॉल क्लासरूम्स टू ऑनलाइन क्लासेस, जैसे अभी ये क्लास हो गई है, द अमाउंट ऑफ एफर्ट टीचर्स आर पुटिंग इन टू टीच ऑनलाइन, स्टूडेंट्स हैव नो आइडिया. आई माई सेल्फ इज टीचिंग अ नंबर ऑफ कोर्सेज to the students online because I do not want their entire semester to get wasted. I do not want them to feel that whatever kind of learning was happening in the classroom cannot take place in a virtual classroom. अभी भी तो एक virtual classroom हो रही है ना, अभी भी तो मैं पूरी प्रेपरेशन के साथ आपके साथ बैठ के बात कर रही हूँ, अभी भी तो मैं आपके आंसर्स दे रही हूँ. सिर्फ फ़र्क क्या है, आई एम फिजिकली नॉट देयर बट आई एम वर्चुअली देयर. Similarly, we are teaching it in the university this way. Similarly, the teachers are teaching to students of schools. Parents are supporting teachers. But university students ने एक बहुत बड़ा massive एक protest start किया है कराची में, and they are saying no, we do not want online classes and it is just a money minting matter. I'm sorry, it is not. It is not. Because they have no idea of the amount of effort teachers are putting in. We are working 24 hours, 7 days a week, no break, with our homes, with our domestic responsibilities, no place for us to work, but we are. And what is happening? A conflict is arising. Now this is the conflict actually which is between a realistic outcome and a non-realistic outcome. स्टूडेंट समझ रहे हैं कि ये उनके लिए गलत हो रहा है, टीचर्स पागल हो गए मेहनत कर करके, राइट. इसी तरह कुछ टीचर्स ने HEC के साथ एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में चले गए. यस, I myself is a teacher who is working day and night to teach. I appreciate teachers, I acknowledge teachers, I support teachers, I love teachers, and I'm always there with them. No matter whatever the world talks about teachers, teachers put in 1,000 times extra effort to teach. Anybody who is against this, I am standing against them. Right. See, so this kind of a conflict, when we overnight change and we have set unrealistic goals, and as employees, as teachers, we say no, we need to set up realistic goals, is actually a cause of conflict. ठीक है, ये तो कुछ sources of conflict are there. Thanks, ma'am, for supporting teachers. I'm also a teacher. Yes, we all need to. Ghazala is saying that we need to support. We all need to stand by each other, teachers. Please remember, we all need to stand. हर टीचर उतनी ही इम्पोर्टेंट है, हर टीचर उतना ही ज़रूरी है, हर टीचर उतना ही मेहनत करता है और करती हैं जितने सब करते हैं. उनके साथ गलत, हमारे साथ गलत. So we can't go against our own fraternity, and we are really working hard. And if a conflict is coming, let's resolve this conflict peacefully, positively, and let's use a problem solving approach to come up to a different idea. ठीक है? Now I'm taking a big pause here. Why? Because we have just completed the sources of conflict within the schools. Now let's move on to the solutions, the strategies. What can we now do? Now again, I would like you here to think about it, reflect on it, write your comments, and if you have any questions, please feel free to post here, and then I'll question you at the end. Okay? Now, there are 8 strategies that we can very easily use to teach, to resolve conflicts between schools and teachers, right? Now, conflict arises in 3 different levels, 3 tiers. The right word is 3 tiers. The first conflict, because we are talking about teachers here, the first conflict is the teacher-student conflict. This is very common, not a new idea. Most of the teachers, Insia, if we are together, nobody can leave. Remember this. Okay, I was talking about that. Yes, I was talking about how the conflict resolving strategies. Now, conflict in schools, in educational institutions, occurs in 3 tiers. Please remember. Tier number 1 is between teacher and student. Very common. We all have experienced it. We all have seen it. We all have observed that sometimes students get to be in a conflict with the teacher, not amongst themselves, with the teacher. And they try every strategy to throw the teacher out. Number 1. The second type of the second tier of conflict is between teacher and teacher. बहुत कॉमन है, हमने बहुत देखा है. सो एंड सो मिस तो ऐसे करती हैं, उनसे तो मैं बात नहीं करूँगी, उनसे तो मैं काम नहीं करूँगी, वो तो मेरा दिमाग ख़राब करके रखती हैं. वेरी कॉमन. उनका तो काम ही मुझे तंग करना है, राइट? एंड द third tier, the third type or the third tier of conflict that arises in the school, which is basically the most strongest one, is between teacher and the management, right? Now, how can we solve? Remember, in the beginning I told you that conflict is positive also, but you need to think in those positive directions. 90% of the people think in the negative dimension, and they tend to take the negativities out. But if you are in a positive conflict, that means conflict, but in a positive manner, you can actually resolve multiple issues. The first strategy that as teachers we can use to resolve the conflict, be it with the student, be it with our peers or colleagues, or be it with our management, is number 1, problem solving. As I did tell you in the beginning, problem solving is something which is very important. When you are in a conflict, it is basically a disagreement. Sit together, talk to each other, come up with the solution, take the conflict as a problem. Think about it. See how can we resolve it together. Once you try to take it positively, and once you try to put it up in the problem solving mode, believe me, you will come up with something which is extremely useful, not only for yourself but also for your school. Number 1. Strategy number 2 that you can very easily use to resolve a problem is superordinate goals. Now, what are superordinate goals? This is something which is very interesting. Superordinate goals are those goals that we set up just like our OM's goals and objectives, that every day we try to achieve something or the other. When my organization sets up an unrealistic goal and I as a teacher talk about realistic goals, what can we do? Let's set up an interim in between realistic and unrealistic, and that is what? Subordinate. I'm completing one, I'm moving on to the other, then I'm completing one, then I'm moving on to the other, then I'm moving on, and then I'm moving. So what am I actually doing? I'm making an unrealistic goal a realistic goal by resolving the conflict that I have. Right? The third strategy that I would suggest is avoidance. Extremely important. It is not necessary, everybody, to be in a conflict at all times. If you are in a conflict and if you cannot think of something, start avoiding. When you start avoiding, thank you, Sidra. Yes, this is my inbuilt problem. Okay, so when we are avoiding the conflict, a lot of problems automatically resolves. No issues, no problems. Just you take a side and the problems will start to settle. कभी भी जब आप एक बहुत acute conflict में हो, this has been proven, and this is also, by the way, prescribed in the religions also. Take a break. Stay away from that person with whom you are in constant conflict. Avoid the person or the place or the organization for some time. Let downsifting happen. Downsifting में होता क्या है? जब हम बहुत गुस्से में होते हैं तो हमारी सोचने समझने की अकल खत्म हो जाती है, and we start to take wrong decisions, and this is the reason why you need to let downsifting happen. When downsifting happens, when the blood from your brain comes down to your lower brain, you are more relaxed and take better actions than the one when you were in anger. So avoidance is a very good strategy if you want to get away from a conflict which you are in with anybody. Then the next way, yes, emotional intelligence also works at this place, and you need to be emotionally intelligent. This I was about to talk about. Right. Next is smoothing. You have to smooth down the process. जब बहुत लड़ाई झगड़े कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हो रहे होते हैं between teachers, between management, somebody or the other has to develop a smoothing relationship, जहां आप दोनों participants को जो sit and you mediate. Mediation is basically the other word that we use for smoothing. That you have to bring that conflict down to a stage where people can communicate, where people can talk, when people can discuss and can come up to a mutual consensus. ये एक बहुत important element है, smoothing down. बहुत सारे लोग मैंने स्कूल्स में देखा है, आई एम सॉरी, एजुकेशन, तो वो हमें समझाने के बजाय हमें और गुस्सा दिलाते हैं, आग डालते हैं, ऐसा ही होता है, ये खराब लोग हैं, ये यूं हैं. बट दिस इज नॉट व्हाट इज राइट. व्हाट नीड्स टू बी डन इज दैट इट नीड्स टू बी स्मूथन्ड. आपको उसकी उस नेगेटिव एलिमेंट को निकाल कर एक मीडिएटिंग रोल प्ले करना है, चाहे आप खुद करें या कोई दूसरा करे. बट व्हेन यू डू इट, यू विल सी अ वेरी पॉजिटिव चेंज in the environment and the conflict comes to a solution. Then a very important part, very important strategy, which I think when we are egoistic we do not accept. कभी भी जब हम egoistic होते हैं, हम गुस्से में होते हैं, हम लड़ाई कर रहे होते हैं, हम इस बात को नहीं मानते. बट जब हम थोड़ा सा सेटल होकर सोचते हैं, this is one of the best strategies for conflict resolution, and that is, what is it? Any idea? Compromise. Learn to compromise. Sometimes we have to bow down. Sometimes we have to let our egos go. Sometimes we have to let our philosophy and everything go, the ones that are there. It is extremely important. Compromise is very, very important. Next, affection. The next strategy to resolve a problem is affection. We need to, the person whom we are fighting with, we need to give that person the due respect, the due care, the due recognition, the due time to share the perception. बहुत सारी दफ़ों पे ऐसा होता है कि जब डिसरिस्पेक्ट आ जाती है तो ऑटोमेटिकली कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ख़त्म होने के बजाय बढ़ना शुरू हो जाता है. सो इफ़ यू रियली वांट टू रिजॉल्व द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, प्लीज़ develop that affective domain within yourself where you're actually into the mode of respecting others. This is extremely important. And the last of all is developing a culture of trust. Very, very important. When you develop a culture of trust, automatically you tend to start listening to each other. You tend to start giving the due space to each other. You tend to start understanding the viewpoints of other. When you start respecting other, when you start listening to each other, and when actually you start doing so many things, automatically the conflict comes to an end. Now with this, everybody, it is almost 10:30. If there is anything that I would like to, if you would like to ask, I can answer. Some of you had questions in the beginning. Most of the questions I have already answered. But if there are any other, please feel free. I will be here for just 2 more minutes and then I will sign off. Because I think everybody has the capacity to listen to a certain extent. And I have been continuously talking for about an hour now. So any questions before I say thank you very much? I would be very happy to answer. So Zainab, any questions? Any questions? Anything? We should let down your voice. Acha, thank you very much. This is indeed a very positive, very good feedback. I hope I was beneficial, Zainab, and I think the purpose of inviting me for this webinar was also fulfilled. Thank you very much. I think there are no more questions. So the session was very fruitful. Thank you. It is indeed a very good feedback. Thank you very much. I'm really pleased. I'm okay. Chaliye, thank you. Then with this, I'll come to an end of today's session. I'm signing off. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. A very big thank you for listening to me, for being there, for giving such good responses. It was indeed a good time. I would love to be back on any other topic if Zainab invites me again. So thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.